What's up, spectators? Welcome back to another episode of Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Last time, Larry was the primary suspect. They were saying, how he, with being the owner of some red paint, which is normalium is in red paint, was mixed with the fatalium, but because the door was locked and he couldn't have gone inside, we're now moving on from Larry as the prime suspect to Delicia, and now Best has to go get her. Right? Best, if we brought her quickly? Sounds good, leave it to me. Hey, Flatfoot, keep up the investigation. Got it. Don't tell me Judge Courtney suspected her from the very beginning. So Mr. DeBest's logic wasn't any help at all. Just what is she thinking? Oh, I had a feeling at the end of the last video that a to be continued was right around the corner, but I didn't take advantage of it. That's okay. We can spare these 10 seconds. 5 seconds. She said it would only be a 10-minute recess. They sure are taking an awfully long time. Sorry to keep you waiting. Prosecutor DeBest presents Miss Delicia Scones. You called, so here she hasn't aged a day. It is I, Delicia Scones, the pharmacist who makes delicious drugs. But you can call me Miss Delicious. And you can call me Mr. DeBestist. Nice to meet you, bestie. They've gone straight to nicknames. That boy reminds me of someone. This is Miles Edgeworth. He's Gregory's son. Nice to meet you, Miley. Could you please not call me Miley? Ha ha! Meeting Greggy's boy, I guess the sign that I'm getting old. How old is this woman? Sebastian, isn't there something you'd like to ask Miss Pharmacist? Oh, right, yeah. Miss Delicious, could you tell us the reason why you came to the gallery? You see, I came to see the curator, Katie. I've been friends with her for 18 years, so I visit her quite often. Is it true, Miss Pharmacist, that you also assisted in the treatment of Mr. Gustavia? I guess you could say that, although I only made the antidote for the doctor. You made the antidote on the spot? You see, as long as I have the right ingredients, I can make any drug easily. The infirmary here is well equipped, you see. Instead of sending him to the hospital in critical condition, we treated him right away. I did all I could. The rest depends upon his body's ability to recover. Do you know the victim, Miss Delicious? You see, although it's been 18 years since I last saw him. I only knew that he had become a world-famous pastry chef. Is the victim that famous? I heard on the news that he had won a competition for designing desserts. That reminds me, I do remember him mentioning something about studying design in Zhengfa. Now let's get down to business, Miss Pharmacist. Are you familiar with the drug TOXIN XXX? It's the drug that's used to kill those things. It's mega effective. Because the effects are so potent, it's not available to the general public. What are those things you're referring to? It's a drug for vanquishing the creatures that strike fear into the heart of a lady. Rats? The ones that often infest kitchens and the like. Ah, I think I know what she's talking about. So, Miss Pharmacist, may I ask you one more thing? Do you know what happens when you mix normalium with fatalium? I know. It's even written on the warning label for TOXIN X. Hazardous when mixed. When the two drugs are mixed together, the chemical reaction occurs and a gas is released. Inhaling a large amount of this gas can cause breathing difficulties. And even death. From the amount of poison gas Gusty breathed in, I think, there was probably at least 500 milliliters of each chemical in the gas. As expected of a pharmacist, she's very well informed. Normalium is an adhesive liquid that becomes hot as soon as heat is applied. Okay. It also has a red color and a minty fragrance. Due to its low cost, it's used everywhere. Fatalium is a white, watery liquid. That's enough for now. As expected of a pharmacist, you're very knowledgeable. Of course I am. Mega Toxin X is one of the chemicals that the company I work for produces. Ah, but not just anyone has access to it. It's so potent as a poison that it couldn't be sold to the public after all. Thank you, I think that's all I need to hear. Does Judge Courtney suspect her? What is she hiding behind that smile? Oh, Flatfoot, have you made progress in the investigation or something? Yeah, let me tell you. The glass cases that contain the sculptures can be opened by a mechanism in the lid. What strange cases. The temperature in the cases can be lowered down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. The inside of the Pisces case was set to 27 degrees Fahrenheit, so my hand nearly got stuck to the ice. Good thing it didn't. So then, from the lid of the Pisces case, we detected slight traces of normalium. Not bad. If the normalium was in a glass case at a temperature at 27 degrees Fahrenheit, then it would have been frozen to the lid. Really? So, what happened? Mr. DeBest, why don't we try borrowing the power of K's little thief? I think the circumstances will be easier to understand if we use Mr. Thief. So you really want to help me out that much? Fine, I'm not really sure how this all works, but you get on with it. I hate being bossed around by this guy, but to arrive at the truth, I'll do it. Stop acting as you please. The goddess of law has no need of your power. Don't be such a stick in the mud, Courtney Pie. We have approval of the prosecutor in charge, so what's the problem? Could it be there's something the PIC doesn't want us to find out? That's none of your concern. If you insist on participating in the investigation, then let me check if you're qualified by asking you a question. What is she planning? Who set off the poison gas? If you can answer me that, I'll allow you to work with us. Well then, Miles. The person who opened the Pisces case and set off the gas. When you think about the circumstances, there's only one person it could have been. Considering the circumstances, it's clear who it was. So please give me your answer. Who set off the poison gas? Well, there was only one person. Odds are, Gustavia was into, he was probably melting it to, I don't know, make it, I don't know why he was melting it, but he's the only person in the room.
Take that!
There was no one in the Autumn Palace other than the victim, Dane Gustavia. It's hard to believe it could have been anyone but him. It seems that way. Very well, I'll allow you to participate this time. But if I feel you're a hindrance, I'll have to ask you to leave. Understood. But what I don't understand is why the victim opened that case. So, Mr. Edgeworth, what shall I recreate? Based on the information we've gathered so far, let's recreate the scene before the gas. Got it. Wah! Don't scare me like that! So this is the true power of Sir Thief. See, the killer's stupid! All they had to do, if they wanted to do the same thing, but instead of making it difficult and easy to track down who did it because Fatalium is so hard to get, you would use something like bleach and ammonia, and since bleach only freezes at like 15 degrees Fahrenheit, it could easily freeze inside the statue sculpture. Just drop in a bunch of ammonia into the case, And then when the guy lights it and melts the bleach, it'll go into the ammonia, boom, done, you have chlorine gas, the guy's dead. Let's investigate the Pisces sculpture post-haste. There's frozen normalium on the lid of the Pisces sculpture's glass. It's frozen so thick you can't even open the lid. On the actual glass case, the lid was heavily cracked. It was like someone had it out for the Pisces sculpture, sir. Do you have any idea how it came to be cracked like this? Well, the damage didn't seem to have come from outside of the glass case, sir. So the inside of the case was below freezing point and the case had developed cracks. There are no signs of external damage. From this we can deduce below freezing, like Mr. Edgeworth's cold stare. And cracked, like Mr. Edgeworth's furrowed brow. Thermal fracturing. The cold glass case was heated from the outside, causing it to crack. But why did the thermal fracturing occur here? And what caused it? Well, we already know that. We have that blowtorch that was recently used. Inside the thermally fractured glass case, there was frozen normalium. That face means you've probably thought of something, Miles. Indeed, I have. I know how Mr. Gustavia was able to open the glass case. What? How can you possibly know something I don't? I'd say the thing he does know are in the minority. Aren't you gonna let me know? How did Dame Gustavia open the glass case? Bam! This gas burner that was found in the Autumn Palace shows signs of recent use. I believe this was the cause of thermal fracturing in the Pisces sculpture's glass case. A gas burner? Why would he use something like that? I got it! The lid was frozen shut, so he had to use the burner to melt the ice. Indeed, that is correct. I just had a late start. I'm still the best, you know. Late start? You didn't even understand a single thing, did you? Well, that's just because Mr. Edgeworth's explanation was too hard to follow. Okay, why don't you update Little Thief so that he can understand it? If you say so. Right, let's restart the recreation. The victim, Dame Gustavia, was the only one to enter the Autumn Palace. If he used the gas burner, then the normalium in the glass case would have melted. And then the melted normalium would have come in contact with the fatalium inside the case. And produced the poison gas. The moment Mr. Gustavia opened the lid, he would have begun to inhale the gas. He managed to drag himself out to the fountain patio just before his strength ran out. So he inhaled the gas when he opened the lid. It seems he finally understands. But why did Mr. Gustavia open the glass case of the Pisces sculpture? The victim's goal, that I do not yet know... Oh, I thought he was in the middle of a sentence or a thought. Perhaps he had the same reason as Uncle Ray. Maybe he actually came to see the Winter Palace, not the Autumn one. Uncle Ray also thought that this was the Winter Palace at first. You too, Ray Ray? Actually, I thought so too. It looks just like Icy's room from 18 years ago. It's even got the exact same plants in front of the door. It seems everyone involved with the IS-7 incident made the same mistake. It is imperative that we investigate the real Winter Palace immediately. I suggest that to Mr. DeBest. That means whatever Gustavia was looking for is actually in the real Winter Palace inside the case. So I guess what we'll want to do next is find out what he was after. I get it now. That's how it was. Did you think of something? The victim committed suicide. He thought he'd look refined if he died in an art gallery. Have you even been listening? Well, if you're as smart as me, just hearing half the story will be enough. Sebastian, I'll explain it from the top later. Top That means best, right? Alright, I'll leave it to you. Yes, it would indeed be best to let Judge Courtney handle him. That aside, don't you have some information to inform everyone of? I do? Oh, he does. I totally forgot. What are you talking about? We did a little checking on that pharmacist. We meaning me, the best, prosecutor subordinate. That's not something to brag about. Shut up, you! Quiet down and listen. Suicide is, off the table for now. Yeah. That's because, in short, that pharmacist is the culprit. She set up the gas as a trap. No! It's a terrible shame, Miss Pharmacist. How could one in the profession of saving lives stoop to extinguishing them? What are you saying? I would never. Mr. DeBest, do you have a basis for these accusations? Of course. This is my basis. Her pharmacist license. It would permit her to handle Megatoxin X, right? And its active ingredient, Fatalium, was one of the components of the poison gas. Exactly! That chemical is almost impossible for ordinary people to obtain. But that pharmacist is another story altogether. It wasn't me! You got it all wrong! And that's not all. A bottle of Megatoxin X was found in the victim's pocket. And on the bottle, we found clear fingerprints. Yours. You and the curator took the victim to the infirmary, right? That would have given you the perfect opportunity to plant the bottle on him. Oh my god, the curator did it. Oh, the curator did it. Oh, how could this be? She seems so nice. You are the only pharmacist on the premises who could have handled Megatoxin X. Furthermore, as for the curator of this art gallery, you're an acquaintance of hers. You would have had access to the gallery at any time in order to prepare the poison gas trap. Please wait! That Megatoxin X, it was stolen! Trying to lie your way out of this won't go well with me. It's true! Look, I got the proof right here in my bag. What is she searching for? Not this. Not this either. I remember seeing cloth like that recently. Ah, here, please take a look at this. It's some sort of paper. Obviously, what does it say? Yeah, what's it say? April 1st, theft report accepted. Stolen item, Megatoxin X. This is a theft report acceptance certificate. What? Truth is, 1 week ago, my Megatoxin X was stolen. 1 week ago? That means you didn't have it with you today. That bottle you just found is probably the one that was stolen from me. I normally carry that bottle of Megatoxin X in my bag at all times. Why would you do that? That makes no sense. Even though I often forget to keep it locked up. I would never even think about mixing it with Normalium. But why in the world would you carry such a dangerous substance on your person? Well, you never know when those things will appear. Those creatures that infest the kitchen, striking fear into the heart of a lady, right? Wow, good memory. Although if you had a rolled up newspaper, you can just squash them with one blow. Justine, what do we do now? Well then, can we really accept this theft report? Let's ask for confirmation. That should clearly tell us whether or not she's lying. Right, well then, I'll just call and confirm it. It looks like Miss Delicious isn't the culprit. Indeed, if she really did set up the poison gas as a trap, I don't believe she would do it in the way in the way that incriminates her the most. So Miles, who do you think is the culprit? Predicting the actions of the victim would require a fair amount of advanced planning. And there's only one person here capable of that. Uncle Ray would like to know too. Who do you suspect? The one who stole the Megatoxin X and prepared the room in advance was the curator. She's the curator, right? Yeah, curator, Catherine Hall.
Take that!
It had to be the curator of the Zodiac Art Gallery, Miss Catherine Hall. But I still don't have any evidence that she's the criminal yet. I see, she is. The way he said that just now sounded like he'd been expecting it. Good job, Miles. As expected from Uncle Ray's future apprentice. I have no intention of becoming your apprentice. And with that, why don't we end this video here? So stay tuned for the next one, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye!